So what do I actually do as a business management consultant or a small business advisor? What do I specialize in? Well, I actually had this conversation with someone yesterday. They were asking me what I specialize in, because you can have business consultants that specialize in very different areas, different industries, different fields, things like that. And I know that business consulting can be kind of a general term, and it's unclear what exactly a business consultant does. And again, I've met business consultants that do things that are totally different from what I do. But in general, I would call myself a small business consultant, a small business advisor. I work with mostly small businesses, and there are different definitions for what a small business is. Is that like on a tax perspective through the eyes of the Canada Revenue Agency? Is that through some other institution? Like, what is the actual definition? And in my case, when I say I work with small businesses, to me, a small business is when I get to work directly with the owner. I prefer to work with owner-operated businesses so that I can have that one-on-one with the owner, because the owners are the ones making the decisions, impacting the business, and able to implement things. So I generally don't want to work with larger businesses where maybe I'm working with like a lower level manager and then we need all these approvals to make things happen. I like to make things happen very quickly. And so just going right to the top of the owner of the business. So typically that's what I would classify as a small business, although there could be bigger businesses that I work with, but I'm still working with, one of the main decision makers. So I guess in terms of what I specialize in, other than just generally working with smaller businesses. So in terms of what I actually specialize in, besides just being a small business advisor and specializing in working with small businesses, I would say I'm very much a generalist when it comes to business startup, business management, and business operations. So in a way, I'm kind of like a specialist in everything and a specialist in nothing at the same time. I am very much the business generalist, and I like to work on all different types of things. So for startups, that's helping a startup choose their business name, choose their legal structure, choose a location that's suitable for them, figuring out the best source of funding, maybe writing a formal business plan for them, helping them get registered for a business license, provincial sales tax account, goods and services federal sales tax account, helping them understand their expenses that they can claim and how their income taxes work, helping them get set up or understand things like payroll or workers' compensation or business insurance, helping them come up with marketing ideas or determining what website platform to go with, or helping them set up a Google business profile. So I like doing all these different things, especially with startups. And I actually like jumping from topic to topic. I like to talk about some of the legal stuff, maybe having contracts for employees, figuring out the legal structure for the business. And then I like to jump over and talk about some marketing stuff, like getting business cards, getting a Google business profile, improving the SEO on a website, and then jumping over to some financial stuff, figuring out startup costs, operating costs, best funding sources, and things like that. So very much a generalist where I can jump from topic to topic within business. And then similarly for existing businesses, talking about the financials. How can we reduce expenses? How can we increase revenue? How can we be more efficient with money? How can we find some funding sources to expand? How can we tighten up or improve the marketing strategy? How can we, refine contracts, or, let's review a lease contract for a new commercial space. So very much jumping from topic to topic, pretty much anything small business. And I think this is important because there are some business consultants that are very much specialists, like they very much specialize in HR consulting or marketing consulting, or leadership and sales training or consulting and things like that. So for me, if you have a big company of 200 people and you have an HR department and you want to hire an HR consultant, I'm probably not the best person for that because I don't specialize in HR. But if you have a company with 3 employees and you need some help with HR, maybe you don't want to hire that HR specialist because maybe the cost is too high. Maybe that specialist in HR is too qualified or too specialized for what you're needing. You're just needing some more general advice, strategy, and guidance with HR stuff. Or the same thing with advertising. If you're just wanting to set up a Google business profile, build a basic website, improve SEO on your website, come up with some basic ideas, you could hire like a marketing agency to do that, but the price could get pretty high. So that's where I step in and I can help out with all those basics in pretty much any topic when it comes to business, or even with something like choosing a legal structure. Yes, you could go to an accountant or a lawyer and get some advice on legal structures, but I think I bring both perspectives where I can understand the financial side of incorporating and also the legal side, and then just even the administrative and operations side of the different legal structures for a business. So if you're wanting to incorporate and you have a more complex legal structure, like, maybe you had a corporation in another country, you kind of want to, continue on in Canada, you're going to have, 6 different owners, things like that, maybe you want to go directly to a lawyer that can focus more on the fine details of that. But for those who are just wanting to set up a corporation for themselves, where there's 1 owner, 2 owners, maybe 3, it's brand new, that's where I come in and I can help with that, without having to charge the same high fees that a lawyer would. So yeah, just to summarize, basically just a small business specialist. I can jump from topic to topic and have knowledge in pretty much all those areas of business startup, business operations, business management. And at the same time, I know my limitations, where sometimes I can get you so far and then an accountant needs to come in and file your T2 tax return, or we need a lawyer to finalize a contract, or we need a commercial real estate agent to actually take you to properties and help you sign a lease. And so I know when those other professionals need to come in, and I can help my clients be better prepared to actually work with those professionals, ask them the right questions, give them the right instructions for what they're looking for and their stage of business and their situation. So hopefully this made sense, and hopefully this video was useful. If so, please click like, and feel free to check out my YouTube channel here, where I currently have almost 300 videos that cover business management and business startup topics.